Hi there guys, I'm going to take a look at a fight that's happening on the 28th of this month, that's July 2012. It's a very interesting fight, one I'm really looking forward to, and it sees Robert Guerrero back in the ring, and he's going up against Selçuk Aydin from Turkey, an unbeaten fighter. Now, Robert Guerrero hasn't been in the ring for over a year. He was last in the ring up against Michael Katsidis back in April of 2011, so that's a fair time out of the ring. And he's going up against an unbeaten fighter who is a heavy hitter. In about 23 fights, he's still got around 70% knockout ratio. He's very heavy-handed. His moniker is Mini Tyson. And this is an interesting fight. Let's look at it. Guerrero, as I said, he's been out for a while, and he's also, and this is a big point to make, he's moving from being lightweight and he's fighting here at welterweight. This is for the interim WBC welterweight title. That's effectively a jump of 2 weight classes. Now, that's a big jump for anyone, particularly if you've had a long layoff. Now, in one regard, he's had plenty of time to put the weight on. He's had over a year to put the weight on and train and get in shape at this weight. So, in some ways, I'm thinking that's a good thing. But in other ways, it's still a jump. He's been out of action, out of a real fight for over a year, and now he's going to fight up against a guy who is, has been fighting regularly at this higher weight. And not only that, he's a big puncher, proven at that weight. So those couple of factors really do play a part in your consideration of this fight. They have to. Let's look at in the ring. Guerrero has the movement and speed advantage. I'm fully expecting that. He is the boxer of the two. The more flashy boxer, the slicker fighter. He has to play it like that in this one. The last thing he wants to do is do like he did, for example, against Vicente Escobedo, and end up in an exchange on quite a number of occasions. Now, yes, you might be saying, well, he came out on top against Escobedo. He had Escobedo down multiple times, but you don't want to play that game with Selçuk Aydin. This is a guy who thrives off that. And when I look at Aydin in a moment, I'm going to explain, what he wants to do. But all in all, Guerrero really needs to keep this as an outside fight, and he just wants to employ that jab to keep the distance, and he wants to select his shots. Now, Guerrero looked very good last time out against Katsidis, who is another pressure fighter. So I'm expecting Guerrero to be able to do this, and I'm expecting him to put on another good performance, and I'm expecting him to show his skills. He's got the skills to do it against Aydin. He doesn't need to trade, as I said. Guerrero can punch, but he doesn't want to look for the knockout in this one. He should go into this expecting 12 rounds, and he should box like he's going 12 rounds, and he just wants to win the decision. I don't think he wants to get too close to Aydin trying to knock this guy out, or he could be on the end of a sharp one himself. Let's look at Selçuk Aydin. He's, as I mentioned, a powerful puncher. If you don't know much about Selçuk Aydin, and I don't know, a tremendous deal, but I've seen him on a couple of occasions. The other boxer that I would compare him to and give similarities to is Marcos Maidana. He's not perhaps quite as crude as Maidana, but he still has an overly reliant style on that right hand and on hooks. He really relies on the right hook. He really relies on his heavy-handedness, much in the way Maidana does. And we've seen, Marcos Maidana comes unstuck against really skillful boxers who can just keep him at distance and be able to just use their speed and movement, lateral movement, to keep away from him, make him chase, out-jab him, out-box him. He has a decent defence, Aydin. He can keep a pretty good guard. I'm expecting him to try and do that in this one, because what he does want to do is go in there, take Guerrero for, you know, a powder puncher and then get hurt himself, because Guerrero is not, you know, he's not the hardest hitter out there, but he's not the softest either. He's the type of guy who can surprise you. So Aydin really needs to be mindful of that. He needs to keep a decent guard, but then he needs to try and cut off the ring. He's going to have to try and get close to Guerrero, because he's not going to win a boxing contest here. He's going to have to win a fighting, gritty contest, which I think he can. Having said that, he's beaten a guy called Jojo Dan on 2 occasions, who I regarded at the time, still do, as being a good southpaw, a good boxer, if you like. Much in what I'm talking about Guerrero, in that he's able to have movement and he's able to use boxing skill. But I think Guerrero has better movement than Dan. Dan in those fights didn't fight to the potential I thought he had, and really didn't show. He looked a bit straightforward, you know, straight lines and basic. Whereas I thought he could use a bit more pop the jab, you know, lateral movement, moving out to the sides, popping the jab, coming in with a couple of combos, work to the body. I think he was pulled into a fight with Aydin, and that's something Aydin's good at. He can draw you into his game plan, his fight. That's another thing he needs to look to do with Guerrero. Another thing Guerrero needs to be aware of. He doesn't want to get pulled in by Aydin in this fight. You have to remember as well, he's fighting in Guerrero's backyard. This is in San Jose, California, I believe. This is effectively a home fight for Robert Guerrero. He'll have massive support, I'm sure. You know, Aydin needs to invite Guerrero into trade. He needs to some way, you know, coax him inside, coax him towards him, so that he can land bombs. And he's going to look for that right hand, I'm sure. But much as if I thought, you know, if I saw Guerrero was going up against Marcos Maidana, I would expect Guerrero to be able to outbox the guy. The same principle applies here for me. Aydin is not to be overlooked. He's a serious contender. He is going to maybe cause Guerrero some problems, but I'm expecting Guerrero to outbox this guy, and I'm going for Robert Guerrero to win a unanimous decision. So that's my breakdown of the fight. I think I've covered everything I wanted to. One last point, it is for the interim WBC welterweight title. I believe that's to become the main contender for Floyd Mayweather's title when he, you know, eventually gets out of prison. I'm not sure if that would ever go ahead with the winner of this fight. You never know with Floyd. You never know with boxing politics. But yeah, you know, we'll see how this fight goes, and we'll see what comes of it. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Please let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I'll be looking forward to knowing your views. So thanks for watching. This is Boxpred, and I'm out.